Students, my name is Anthony sir and you are welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn very important grammar topic which is clauses and its type. But let me tell you students, first of all, when you want to understand what is clause, you must understand what is sentence and its types. So, the classification of sentence, we have three types of sentence. Number one is simple sentence, number two compound sentence, and number three complex sentence. So you can see here in the chart we have simple, compound and complex three sentences. Now simple sentence, it means it has only one clause. One clause means one subject and one predicate and sentence is over. And compound sentence, it means it has two main clauses, or we can also say two independent clauses. It means two subjects, two predicates, and they are connected with one conjunction, and this conjunction are also defined in compound sentence. Mainly we have conjunction and, or, but. So and, or, but. When you see these three conjunction in a sentence, it means it is compound sentence. It means there will be two main clauses in the sentence. And the third one is complex sentence. Now this is the most important sentence that we are going to learn. The word itself says it is complex. Okay, so complex has one main clause and one or more subordinate clause. Okay, you can see it in the chart. It has one main clause which is also called principal clause and one or more subordinate clause. And under this subordinate clause we have adverb clause, adjective clause and noun clause. So remember, main clause doesn't have any type, only the subordinate clause has types. And the types are adverb clause, adjective clause and noun clause. Now let us learn how to identify the subordinate clause. Why do we have to learn how to identify subordinate clause? Because it is subordinate clause that has types. Main clause doesn't have type. So in exam or in any exam that you are writing, you may write main clause and the type is adjective clause. Then it is wrong because main clause doesn't have any type. So first of all, we have to identify subordinate clause. And I am giving you very easy way to identify subordinate clause. In the sentence, wherever you see conjunction word, conjunction like if, because, since, as, therefore, this kind of conjunction, or pair conjunction like hardly when, scarcely when, no sooner than, this kind of conjunction, not only but also. When you see this conjunction, it means the clause immediately after the conjunction word, it is our subordinate clause. Remember, I repeat once again, the clause which is immediately after the conjunction word, it is our subordinate clause. So now you know how to identify the main clause and subordinate clause. Subordinate clause is the clause which is immediately after the conjunction word. Now that you know which one is subordinate clause, we will find out the types of subordinate clause. So subordinate clause has three types: adverb clause, adjective clause and noun clause. And we will learn all of them one by one. Now that we know the classification of sentences, there is simple sentence, compound sentence and complex sentence. I have mentioned the word clause in it. So let us understand what is clause. So remember, number one, it is group of words with complete meaning. It means it has subject and it has predicate in it. Okay. So any group of words that has subject and predicate, it is called clause and it makes complete sense. But sometimes clause doesn't make complete sense without the other words of the sentence. So in one sentence can have two or more clauses, and it is possible that both of them are independent clause. They don't depend on each other and they are connected with words like and, or, but, which is also called compound sentence. But it is also possible that sometimes the clause, two clauses in a sentence depends on each other. So one can be independent and the other one depends on the main clause. That is why it is called subordinate clause. Now this subordinate clauses has types. It has noun, adjective and adverb clause. So let us understand what is adverb clause first. Now let us see what is adverb clause, and to identify adverb clause from this sentence we must first identify which one is subordinate clause, because it is our subordinate clause that has type adverb clause. Okay, so I told you that subordinate clause is immediately after the conjunction word. So wherever the conjunction word is, the clause after is our subordinate clause. Now how to identify adverb clause? There are four things you have to remember. Number one, an adverb clause is a clause itself. It means it has subject and predicate. Number two, it does the work of an adverb. Now the question is, what is the work of an adverb? The work of an adverb is to modify verb, adjective or another adverb. Okay? Number three, it indicates time, place. So the clause itself will indicate time, place, condition, purpose, etc. So when you see that the clause indicates this, any of these, it means it is our adverb clause. And number four, it answers the questions like when, where, why, how. So if you ask the question with when, where, you get the answer, which is our adverb clause. We are going to learn adjective clause. An adjective clause, to learn we have to remember three things. Number one, adjective clause, it is clause itself. It means it has subject and predicate. And number two, it does the work of adjective. Now what is the work of adjective? The work of adjective is to modify noun or pronoun. So here also the clause itself will modify noun or pronoun. And number three, it will have noun or pronoun before that. It means before the conjunction word, before the clause itself, we will have noun or pronoun, and the clause will modify that noun or pronoun in the sentence. That is why it will become our adjective clause. Now here there is no any question, or it doesn't indicate anything. Here the clause itself will modify noun or pronoun which is right before the conjunction word. Next we are learning is noun clause. Noun clause, to understand we have to know three things. Number one, it is clause and it has one subject and one predicate. Okay? That is number one. It is clause, it has subject and it has predicate. Number two, it does the work of noun. Now the question is, what is the work of noun in this sentence? Actually noun doesn't do any work. Noun itself becomes our subject or predicate in the sentence. So here our noun clause will be either subject or object in the sentence. And the third thing that you know, when you ask question with what, when you ask the question with what, you will get the answer of noun clause. Okay, so remember this word, what is used for noun clause question. So these are the rules for noun clause, adjective clause and adverb clause, and in our next video